Hello, my name is Laura. I am a couples therapist that specializes in healing trauma, and that is so we can heal the relationship with ourselves so we can be in better connection and relationship with all of those around us. Today, I'm going to be covering the stress response hill. I learned this from Saj at his institute. The trauma recovery protocol is his system, and I also learned more about it from a Stanford study called the Defense Cascade. That study is going to go into much more depth, include different states on the stress response hill, and is a great deeper dive if you want more information on this. I'll include links to this person and that study below. This is a nice summary, though, that I think we can easily use throughout our daily lives. So let's dive in. So this is the stress response hill. This line is going to be perceived threat. So this is when we see more threat around us. This axis is the sympathetic arousal, more commonly known as fight or flight, and this is parasympathetic arousal. You might have heard it as a rest and digest system. It also does dissociation when it's at higher levels. And these systems, they're kind of like a seesaw. So if one is really activated, we get no activation of the other, and either extreme state can be a challenge to be in for ourselves and also when we deal with a loved one in it. We want like a nice activation of both of these systems, a nice kind of, balanced seesaw with a little bit of wobble. So level 1, this is when we're really grounded, calm, relaxed. We can access deep empathy and compassion. We have access to creative problem solving. This is where I think most of us want to be. It's nice. In our society, I think a lot of us are living at a 2. We are stressed about making ends meet, our budgets. We have meetings to get to, traffic's bad, so we're a little bit more alert. I think a beautiful example of this is if you have a dog or you've seen other, animals in nature, the dog will be like perfectly relaxed. It hears something at the door. It's on alert. Like its whole body shifts. It's scanning. It's seeing, like, I heard a slight threat. Is it actually a threat? And when it realizes, nope, it wasn't actually a threat, the dog will shake its entire body and just re-enter that relaxed space so easily. And you'll see like ducks do this at the park. And so I love watching other animals do this and seeing it. And actually, anytime my dog shakes, I will shake with her to release a stress that maybe I heard as well, some type of threat noise, but I didn't think to release it. And one thing that I think is really useful about this model, it shows this increase in activation. So we're at a 2, and we just want to meditate or breathe some and go to a 1. Unfortunately, we have to ride this roller coaster back down. So we'll be meditating and we feel an increase in activation in our body. And we're like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. I get more stressed. It doesn't work. It might actually be doing exactly what's supposed to happen with the nervous system. There's this increase in activation before relaxation. It might be true that some type of meditation, or for some people, meditation does increase you to the fight or flight stage. Everyone is unique, and I just invite people to be really curious and play with it. Try meditating a little bit longer, or try a different type of meditation. See if you get to that point where there's a relax or release in the body. So we're at this alert state, and one of the biggest threats that humans perceive is loss of connection. Like our survival for thousands of years depended on us being in community. Like community was what kept us safe. So when there's a threat to relationship, the body and mind actually perceive that as a very severe threat. So there's a perceived threat of disconnection, and the body may kick us up into fight or flight. So at this peak, we are flooded with cortisol. The blood flow in our prefrontal cortex decreases. When that happens, we lose the ability to feel empathy, both for another person and for ourselves. So when I'm in therapy, couples therapy, individual therapy, I don't allow conversations to continue if someone's at a 3. So everything pauses, we regulate. We drink some water, we do some movement, we breathe. Okay, feeling more grounded, we can continue. Even if we have to pause a dozen times in an hour, I absolutely believe it's what's best for the relationship. So the progress may be slow, but that smoothness in progress is going to be what allows it to be fast. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So we can train our nervous systems too to come back down quicker and easier. It takes time. Just like if you were training for a marathon, you would not expect yourself to go to one workshop or listen to one YouTube video and be able to run a marathon tomorrow, even if you knew how to pace your breath and like work with the pacing of your body. You know you need to practice some. So you might learn something about the nervous system today, and you have to practice it for months to see really meaningful changes. I mean, you might see some changes in a couple weeks, but just know that this does take practice, does take frequent engagement. And yes, like your nervous system, your body is absolutely pliable and can make changes. So we're at a level 3. The threat continues just a little bit more. The highest part of the peak is when we feel hopeless. So I am never going to be able to connect with my partner around this. They are never going to understand me. There's no way I can get my point across. Boom. The body sends you down to dissociation. So, and dissociation actually feels good. When we were living in more wild circumstances, dissociation would flood our bodies with endogenous opioids, so we couldn't feel whatever physical attack may be coming next. So this is protective. The body is wanting to protect you. What changes in the body is that your blood, before it was in your limbs, so you could fight or flight. Now all of your blood is pooling in your core. So if you get slashed, you don't bleed out as easily. So you might be cold, shivery. It's harder to concentrate and track what's happening, though it feels pleasant. So some people at a 4 may think they're at a 1 because there's this pleasant feeling in it. Yet there's really not that compassion, empathy, creativity that you would have at a level 1. And some people at a level 4, they can jet to a level 3 to 4 very quickly. So the threat level changes. They're at a level 3. They're flooded. They're, very intense, active. But then they feel the threat increases a bit and they're checked out again. And then a level 5 is when things just really feel hopeless. So if you were out in the wild, this is when, it's not just one lion that you're battling. There's a dozen lions in front of you. So your body checks out. It's very cold. It is common for couples for one to be more commonly go to like the level 3 fight or flight, and one more commonly to dissociation. It can be confusing. Like, why aren't you feisty and engaged like me? Or why aren't you calm and just chill like me? We kind of sometimes want the other person to match us. And to me, this is just really helpful to check in. Like, I ask myself, where's my marble at? Oh, it's at a 2? Okay. I need to do some more self-care today. I need to take a few breaths now. If I check in and I'm at a 3, it lets me know I need to completely stop. Like, I need to not interact with anyone else, and I need to care for myself. So I would end the conversation I was having with a loved one. Like, I really love and respect you, and I want to pick up this conversation soon. I need at least 15 minutes to care for myself so that I can be present for this conversation. Can I connect with you in 15 minutes? If after 15 minutes I'm not feeling regulated, I can ask for more time. You know what? I'm really thinking I need to continue this conversation tomorrow. Yeah. So I, encourage my couples when I work with them to know where their marbles are at, so that they can support each other in regulating, support themselves in regulating. And I just feel it's a helpful model to explain what you may be experiencing in your body. And lastly, all of these stages are built into our bodies as a way to protect ourselves. So whenever you find yourself at a stage, there's no shame in it. It is perfectly okay and normal for you to be there. It's information that you can use to support your growth and your healing. Well, I look forward to connecting. If you have any questions, drop them below, and have a beautiful day. Take care.